Hello there, everyone. I see Dana has already joined us. We need to find a cat. I think I know where one is. How you do? Oh, there's no music. Can you not hear it? Should be coming through. But yeah. We're going to be continuing our coding stream today. We are on what? Let's see here. Day 28. Day 28, which means something along the lines of 84 days of hours of coding, which isn't a lot. And we slow down based in order to chat and the like. But things should keep go smoothly here. Let's see, what were we doing last time? Well, let's find a cat. Ember has dodged us again. She went to get some food. Let's see, Sky is passing through the play area. Okay, we are going to camera should we guess at here? Sammy is on my lap right now. Sky is in the upper left corner of the play area. For you, Dana, it should be the lower left camera. The upper left corner of the lower left camera. We expand the camera a bit. This really doesn't change it from for the short front view. But you can just see him looking at a litter box right now. I think I've got a new playlist prepped. I've been trying to find some nice, like, soft, somber piano kind of stuff to play when the more energetic stuff that I normally play doesn't necessarily fit. I think I finally found some. Trying to get some pictures of some of the cats uploaded to the Discord here. We are flipping between scenes. I want to find a cat. Said they are hiding from us. All right, we're gonna leave it on the bed for now. Sammy is snuggling on my lap. Sammy demands a lot of attention. She's like Ember. If she climbs in my lap, she expects lots of attention. And Sammy is a little trickier to give that attention to because she really kind of leans and arcs her back into the petting and expects it to be just so. She will give you a corrective nip if you don't get it right. That is one thing. If a cat does a light nip on you, I think some dogs will do this too, but it's not like a hard bite. It's just like usually they'll put their teeth on you. That is a correction. That is like a light bop on the noggin kind of thing. They're telling you, no, bad human, you're doing it wrong. Now, if they full on chomp you, that usually means, hey, you hurt me. But it's the corrective nip is generally less than a them taking a swing at you or hissing at you. And that's not like them batting at you with a paw. I'm talking like, claws out. Yep, blinking slowly is another sign of trust, just like exposing their belly. If they'll do either of those things to you, that's them doing something that makes them vulnerable. The slow blink is them closing their eyes in front of you, an opportunity for you to get them. If they expose their belly, that's an opportunity for you to hurt them. But that's them saying, like, no, I trust that you won't do that. That's why with some cats, if they expose their belly and you try to touch their belly, that they claw and bite. It's because they showed trust to you and you violated it. It's that I trust you would never touch my belly, see? And then you do it, and betrayal. Okay, so we got the player shifted over to the new pattern. We created a factory for the player that is the thing now that has the source of truth for player objects. What I will probably do is turn this into an array of players or something like that, but we can get to that later. So we'll see if we get to our target operation here. Today we want to get to the point where we create weapon modifications. Player factory dot get player. Touch that. Touching that should cause some of the little mice to spawn. Hey there, Thunder. Players can look directly at you. If they're looking directly at you, they are. Cats can do binocular vision. They have predator eyes, essentially. If you ever see a cat looking at you, the round pupils and slit pupils with cats. Round pupils is acquiring target. Slit pupils is lock on target. Thunder, you are one of two people currently. You are in the short form chat, the cell phone tall format, and Dana, who I am speaking to, is in the widescreen format. I have 3 streams going, Thunder. There's one that's in tall format, like on a phone. There's one that's in wide format, like on a traditional screen. And then there's a Twitch one, which is in wide format too. So I'm talking to somebody you can't see in chat. More pertinently. Okay. So we've got that working. So now what we want to do is we want to change this so that the spawner on the player is altered. Instead of creating a new one. So let's see. How are we going to do this? So one thing would be player inventory management so that we have a pattern for this. But Hello, Ember. Hello. What do we think on this? Let's check for a kitty. Still, everybody is hiding from us. Ember should enter across the desk, though. There we go. There we go. All right, all right. Almost certainly not going to happen, Hazel. If Sammy shows herself, we can put her on camera, too. Let's see. So we don't want to just be adding children to it. So let's go into the player object and add some special interface to it. Yeah, in the same way with mob body, with mob factory, I think ultimately we should move this to the mob body. We'll get there, though. We'll get there. Because the factory isn't really in charge of that. You got a question, just fire away. Okay, where is our player object? Not really a dog person, Dana. I have interacted with family dogs before, but much more of a cat person myself. Ha ha ha, cat ears. But no, all cats. Save this. I want to put it in player body. Then the player is our player body object. This test object. Oh man, I'm all out of sorts. Hey there, Destroyer. I mean, Gregory, there are folks that like to do that. Where? Oh, here we go. Test scene. And delete. There we go. Oops. Close test scene. Delete test scene. There. We're doing well, Destroyer. We're doing well. Okay, so we have player factory. We need the player object. It's not about movement. It's a mob type. There we go. Player body. Okay. We don't need a test node. We need a weapon spawners node. That kitty is Ember with an E. Like the, dying coals of a fire kind of Ember. She is very photogenic and tends to be the one that is, when she's sitting on a heating pad, is almost universally there and nearby. Okay, So we have the player body, we have weapon spawner, we go into player body. We are going to say weapon spawners as node. Sorry. On ready. Can I export this? Do I want to export this? I think I want to export this, but I don't know if it'll actually function how I want it to. We're going to try to export it. Body. Take weapon spawners and we put it right there. What I'm concerned about is that this might be a universal instance, that it's always the same one, but that wouldn't make sense. So we're going to roll with this idea. I wonder if I can do that same thing in mob body. Science. Body is that. Sprite is that. Raycast is that. Something random to do? Look up the YouTube channel Will McDaniels and pick a video at random to watch. I haven't watched Amazing Digital Circus yet. I've heard good things. Hey there, Quinn. Okay, we have that. We have this. Oh, Will McDaniels. It's the guy's name. I guessed it would be at Will McDaniel. Kind of thing. He makes wet puppets. Moist puppets, as it were. Things still moving. Everything still bounces. Raycasts are still functional. Okay. Okay. That's working. Yes. Okay, so the player body has weapon spawners. So we can do... weapon spawners. Colon. Earns a node. I'm going to have to go through and make sure that these functions are set up to words. These functions are set up to specify their return value. I'm doing okay, Quinn. Doing okay. Let's see. Do we have other cats? Wow. They're all hiding from the cameras, except for Ember. She is snoozing across from the keyboard, keeping an eye on me. If you look the way she's looking, that direction is kind of towards me. I have 5 cats. Most cats I've ever had is 7. But there was kind of a terrible incident when the 6th and the 7th joined the family. Really a terrible series of incidents. Hello, Sky. Yeah. My noise filters are pretty good, so you can't usually hear it, but Sky is crying at me. He wants attention. Come here, then. Come here, then. Right over here. Come here. Hey. I was mentioning cat eyes as far as you being able to detect behavior based on what their eyes look like. Cats that are kind of trying to watch things, like they're just trying to see what's around them, usually their eyes will be big and round, their pupils. If a cat is watching one thing in particular, especially if it's like a little critter that they would like to kill, or an approximation thereof, their eyes will go slit pupil. The slit pupiled eyes let them focus very carefully on something, so they can get a lot of information about that one thing visually. Wide pupils let them see a lot of things at once. See, I can do that. Guy is demanding chin scratches. I have to kind of control my mouse with my left hand while scratching his chin with my right hand. Yeah, Limb Fairy is one of the standard ones, yeah. Will McDaniels, I always try to watch his new stuff. He started live streaming the kind of creation process with them. Hey there, Wolf. Why the frowny face? We have movement. Okay, we can get weapon spawners, which will let us iterate over them. Might need to type. Well, that's unfortunate, Wolf. I do hope things turn around for you. Okay, so we're going to go into the giver code. We're going to go into that spawner. Get player. Player is equal to player factory.getPlayer. And player is a player object. Weapon spawners. Weapon spawners is a node, and that is equal to player get. Come on. It's a player object. You know what a player object is. Yet. I've sworn I just added that to the player body. Yeah. Just so. This is a shortcut. It is not what I want to do. Get child 0. So then we want to have spawner will have tricky. So I don't want to change the template itself. We only want to change an instantiated object, which is a movement template. So we look here. So we have a template for a spawner. We have movement template objects. So it's okay to change these. So we should be able to instantiate them. I can't really see that font or a symbol. Is teeny tiny. Okay, we have the spawner. Hey there, Ricardo. Welcome to our game dev screen. We have the spawner. This should get us the spawner. Let's make sure it doesn't explode. I mean, if I had to guess, it's the number 10. We're making a game, Ricardo. Does code explode when I touch? No? Okay. Now let's go to here. I should have just alt tabbed to get it. And welcome, Antium. Oh, and Ricardo. Welcome to both of you. Okay, and bullet spawner is a null. Ah. Interesting. Weapon spawners. Thought we'd use get children somewhere else. It's our mob factory. Instantiate the mob body. Spawner? I would not be able to tell you, Dana. I can hardly see the symbol. And if you're using numbers in a different language, I can't understand it. Create a mob body. We get movement templates as an array. We have movement modifiers. 3. Initiate it, we append it. Movement modifiers is just an array. There's got to be a place where we're iterating over movement object. I'm looking for an example in my code where I did a particular thing, just to see how I did it. Movement templates get children. We're making a lot of progress. There's been a lot of changes, Antium. What we're trying to do right now is we're spawning these bubbles for testing purposes. The blobs are doing what we want them to. You look, the blobs kind of wiggle out of the way when we touch them. They'll do the same when they touch each other as well. Ember has got to be 3 or 4 now, I think. Maybe going on 5. I'd have to check the paperwork. But yeah, we jumped through a lot of hoops to get the blobs to, like, bump into each other like this. I may ultimately try something different, but this works out okay. We can go up to about 400 objects. I think at 500 objects, we start to run into issues. These purple orbs are placeholder objects. We're using those right now to do some testing. The old rub about cat and dog ears kind of works as far as early on, at least kind of in a wiggly sense. But once a domestic animal hits about 10, those numbers are way off. Because domestic cats, sometimes they can live to like 20. It's highly variable, like 10 or 12 is the average. But if you think about that, that is like 100 human years, which is well beyond even modern expectation. There is a point at which, I always say there's a point at which a cat or a dog reaches old. And when they reach old, they kind of enter a age stasis kind of period, where they can keep living for a long time, and barring like disease, they just kind of stay the same until they don't. Okay, so we can see we're spawning about a blob per second, and we have collision logic that makes the blobs slide off of each other and makes the player slide through them. There are some idiosyncrasies with the system that I need to work out, but for now it's working okay. The blobs can reach a point where there's kind of a equilibrium in their positioning, and they'll just get stuck in a ring around the player, and we can't have that happen. So we'll ultimately need to add some randomization to their collision, so they don't overlap like this one I'm walking over did. That kind of thing. I wonder what's causing them to all get into sync. Because you look at this one and it's not in sync. I wonder if there's a way to randomize that. But that's not really necessary. And it might increase visual processing costs in a way that I don't want. Anyhow, what we're trying to do is we've got a bullet spawner here. And if we look at, well, I might have to say 1. Let's look at this lookup symbol. Index include internal. Child 0 should have something. Oh. That's why. Oh, silly me. Okay. It should be 0. And the reason that I'm getting nothing with this is because we aren't putting the weapon spawner here. We're just attaching it arbitrarily. And even then, we have not added one yet. So we're going to go into... where's player body? There we go. So we have get weapon spawners, which returns the node. I have function func add weapon spawner. Yes, and it's going to say I want spawner, which is a spawner. We should be checking if spawner is a thing. Weapon spawners. Add child. Spawner. Okay, so we go into... Where's our item giver? Go into our item giver. And we're going to say... We're going to keep this for a moment. If weapon spawners dot get children dot size is greater than 0, then do that. Else spawner is equal to spawner factory dot what's it called? I keep forgetting my code. Excuse me. Get spawner. Okay. Okay, and then we have catalogs. Weapon catalog. Dot. Come on, I know it's in there. We're running into some problems. Weapon catalog and weapon catalog. There. Here. Add. Okay, so for now, if it doesn't have a weapon spawner, it will add it the first time we touch a bubble. This is not how actual gameplay will work. We're just using the purple bubbles to force it. Okay, it should now be emitting the mouse projectile every so often here. It should Player and weapon spawner -2 is equal to self. Actually going to say body. So, in actual game, after an enemy or tangible thing is done, we would go in and say, like, oh, some sort of, point is dropped. And that point will give you, you get a number of points and you get a upgrade, which could include adding one of these little weapons. See, the mouse very slowly homes in on the target. With it selecting a random target. Okay, so the next thing we want to do in the item giver is say, like, okay, it already has a bullet spawner. So then we can say bullet spawner dot. What do we have on spawner that we can do? Not a lot. That's part of the idea, Antium. The beverage. And the creatures that we're working with are supposed to be simple and cute. Okay, we have movement modifiers, position modifiers, but that's not... Because we can add these. All right, Antium, thank you for joining us. We count modifiers. And 1. Okay, so every time we touch a bubble, it should increase the number of mice that are being admitted by 1 after the first bubble. So we should be getting 2 mice at once here. Oh, we can't see that. Group modifiers. If it's a count modifier, since they're all homing projectiles, they'll all immediately lock on to the same target. So they move overlapped. But if they're group modifiers, they lock onto separate things. So now it'll be 3. Now it'll be 4. And 5. You can see 2 are overlapped there. Okay, so this is showing some modification to them. With this many homing projectiles, pretty much after a bit, none of the blobs will be able to increase in count for very long because there are so many homing shots that they're very likely to get taken out. And long term, they won't be popped in one hit automatically. This would be the kind of weapon that would start out very weak. It moves slowly, it doesn't spawn a lot, but it is very, very likely to hit something. One of the things I will probably do is select random mob, make it so that it selects a new one. If, hey there, Annabelle. Welcome. We are testing weapon modifying logic. That's these placeholder purple bubbles that I'm touching. Increase the number of mice that are spawned each time I do this. Yeah, this is showing one of the core principles is that I can edit them on the fly. So let's see, the next thing we need to do, we need to look at our spawner again. So one thing would be I can fix that part. Spawners are a scene, and as soon as we attach a spawner to its target, then it would gain these objects. Now, if we instantiate it, as soon as we instantiate it, it should have these bits. So, day's going pretty well. We played a new game. Starting today, we're going to be playing on our gaming sessions a game called Payne's Creek Killings, the Payne's Creek Killings. And it is a murder mystery game. And that was a lot of fun. It's a very chill experience. The music makes it way tenser than it should. It's that sort of like it's a piano music that makes things seem more sinister than they are, but it is an unnerving environment. Mob factory, spawner factory. Where are we at? Spawner factory. Okay. This is part of the problem. We do spawner.new. We do... Okay, we would need spawner scene. If we get spawner scene, then we can instantiate it. Well, thank you, Annabella. That cat is Ember. I have 2 streams when I stream. So every day except Monday and Thursday, I do streams. And how I'm trying to do it now is at noon, I do a gaming stream. And at 4 p.m., both times U.S. Central. At 4, I do these programming streams. Generally, they're scheduled for 3 hours a day. I haven't been as up to date on getting the new stream scheduled in advance, but now that we have a game to play regularly, I should be able to get those in advance. So if you look at my YouTube channel, you should see upcoming streams. Where could we put this? Go into game. We look at those. Catalog, spawner, player template. Okay. So if we go into our game script, do let's see. Let's switch over because we can see Sherbet now. Hey there, Bree. Let's see. Where do we put this? Let's do variable spawner template as spawner scene. Would it be a? It's not a mob template. Yeah, it's packed scene. There we go. Well, thanks for subscribing, Bree. One must carry on regardless of how many people are viewing. The important thing is to try to be entertaining. And we try. Okay, so we have a spawner scene. So if we go into the game view, we have spawner scene. So if we take spawner scene, put you right there, then we can go into our... Where did we put that? Ah, okay. Then we can say spawner factory. Our spawner scene is a packed scene. Hey there, Zell. Welcome, welcome. Zell joining us on the Twitch side. Probably not, Brie. I'm not a big Minecraft fan. I don't find it to be a bad game, but I get bored of it very quickly. Okay, so then in game, when we are setting things up, we're going to say spawner factory dot spawner scene is equal to spawner scene. Okay, spawner factory now has the spawner scene. It's equal to spawner scene dot instantiate. Touch. Okay, now we're going to look at our debugger. Editors, orphan nodes. Okay, we're not getting an orphan node, but in spawner, we shouldn't have to mess with stuff in ready. So now... and this should be a export position modifier node. There we go. And we're going to add... This needs to be a node. And I will get distracted while I'm doing this, but I will try to get to any questions that you have as soon as I notice them. What games do I play? Recently, off stream, I play a lot of Helldivers 2. But I am reaching a point with that game where it needs to be a set it down and revisit it when there's new stuff to try and do. I have played it quite a bit and have almost all of the stuff. And I don't want to just grind at it for no reason. One I have been playing recently mostly for member berries reasons, is it's called Ayuden Chronicles, and it is a PS1 and earlier era JRPG, and it is very, very, very heavily influenced by a game called Suikoden. And I loved Suikoden, and this game is essentially a new reimagining of Suikoden. So there's that. It does have problems that are derived from a game of that era, but for me, I can largely ignore them. We'll see how long that lasts. But it's a lot of fun. I like it. Position modifiers, rename that. Position modifiers is, wait. There it is. Boop. So then don't need that. Whenever there's a new, let's see, what are some other things? Whenever there's a new DLC for like Vampire Survivors, I try to play that one. That's the style of game I'm making like this. I see, I see. Okay. So we've got that. Didn't explode. Let's go into the homing mouse template. It does have, okay, it has a position modifier for spread. That it doesn't explode when it reaches it. We should be good there. Then, depending on your battery efficiency now, you might be approaching the point where you want to start charging it. Drink of water. There we go. Hello, Sky. Sky demands chin scratches. Yeah, there's a good boy. There's a good boy. Okay, okay. We cleaned up spawner. A little bit of a code tangent, but that's okay. So back to item giver. We go in and we add that. So what happens if... Okay, speed modifiers are another thing. Wonder if... So each ability... So one of the difficulties I have is the idea that movement speed is currently set to each individual modifier. So each thing can move at a particular speed. I think I'm okay with that. But... I think I still need the individual things to have their own speed modifiers. Where is our movement list? Okay, those are targeting. They just need 0. Definitely not, Mike. And hey there, Dr. Marcus. Welcome. Haven't seen you in a bit, I think. If you are the one that I am remembering. Your name and SCP logo seem familiar. Okay. What about a global speed modifier? So these are the default speeds. I think the idea of a global speed modifier is not a bad idea. Pastry bread is good. Can be good. Can be good. Sky demands chin scratches further. It's commandeered my lap. There you go. Let's see, what kind of breads? I mean, the topping is a significant factor. One really good one was a type of bruschetta, I think it was called. It's kind of a maybe close to inch thick rectangular block that you cut strips off of, kind of a crispy breadstick. I like pretzel bread. Like me a Bavarian pretzel. With big old salt crystals on it. You know, your standard kind of not fully white bread, but that close to it, that kind of almost like a really nice airy white bread. I mean, I'm partial to mustard in general, and I have been known to add that to lots of things. You know, spaghetti, ramen noodles. Every now and then a little with pretzel, but if it's going to be with pretzel, it would need something else, you know. There is a point at which there is too much mustard. Now, that said, McDonald's has a sauce type called hot mustard, and McDonald's hot mustard is delicious. And the too much mustard amount, the threshold for too much mustard with that is much, much, much higher. They never give you enough sauce tubs, though. It's like you get close to just enough for a standard nugget pack, you know. Let me try to translate that name, unless you would like to do it for me. Paste. Something like Rabia? Is that it? That Adem? Hopefully that'll do. Attach the weapon spawner. Okay, so we've got that. We add that to the group modifier, so it will create extra homing projectiles. So what if we go into a spawner and say have a R speed multiplier. So float is equal to 1.0. Okay. So we have a speed multiplier, and then we need to have that in a spawner template. Float is equal to 2.0. No, 1. That is 1 just in case, but that should never happen. So if we go into the spawner factory, spawn template, seconds, spawner dot speed multiplier. Multiplier is equal to template dot speed multiplier. Okay, then in spawner, whenever we do a speed multiplier, times speed multiplier. Okay, blobs are still moving, so the speed multiplier defaulting logic is working. Okay, so now in our item giver, we are also going to say bullet spawner speed modifier multiplier is equal to, well, times equal 1.1. So we'll get 10% faster, multiplicatively 10% faster every time we touch a bubble after the first. So what this does is we can specify the default speed of a spawner, and then we can increase it. So 2 mice and faster and faster. We'll notice it more and more every time we touch it. Yeah, I think speed multiplier was a good thing to add. We'll definitely be able to make use of that. Now, interestingly, if the blobs moved very fast, having the projectile move too fast would interfere with its homing capability. And this can also interfere with movement past a particular point. We will have to put some sort of cap on movement speed. See how the mice only fly out in clusters the size of the number in the left? Because that's the number of mobs that they can see at the most. And each one acquires a random target. Okay, speed multiplying works. Then what else could we do? Now we can add a movement template, like a fully built movement template, which means we're going to need to get to the point of making a movement template factory. Where we pass in a packed scene and say, make a movement template out of this with the template in the speed, and it spits a movement template back. That way we can create templates for that. We could have a actual movement template so that instead of referencing this scene, we reference the template object, which would mean that in our spawners, we would be able to avoid thinking. We would be able to avoid this, because then each one of the modifiers that we're adding could have a default speed, some of which we could make it so that they aren't randomly accessible. But we could have things like, homing mouse movement template. So I could have various instances of like home to target with different speeds, and just use them in a predetermined fashion. Yeah, I kind of like that. If it's not immediately apparent, we're doing game development, or we're developing a game, more descriptively. We're making a Vampire Survivor style game, and what we're working on right now is testing the idea of adding changes to a weapon spawner while it already exists. Yeah, okay. So let's make a new catalog. Logs. Okay. It's going to be a movement template catalog. That's what I'm calling them. Movement template. Okay, good. So movement template catalog does all of this kind of stuff. A spawner template is a resource, right? Yes. Okay. Oh. So movement template currently isn't a template. Oh, tricky. I want to rename this. Position is a position modifier. Let's call it a movement modifier. Yeah. All right, let's break some stuff. We have to do this for naming consistency. Oh, wow. We super broke it. One moment. Oh, okay. Okay, so all of our movement modifiers went haywire with that. There were too many errors all at once. Copy that. Now we're going to go through all of our movement modifiers and fix that. Includes targeting. Targeters are movement modifiers. Okay. Movement. Movement should be able to set movement templates too. Yeah. Sport. That go here. Modifier. Well, hey there, and welcome then. Welcome to the broadcast. We're making a game. I have done something in the code that has now broken a bunch of stuff, so we're fixing that. But otherwise, doing great, doing great. One of my cats is on my lap, giving him some head scratches right now. Let's see where the other cats are. Looks like we can see 2 cats on the cameras. Hey there, 3. Welcome. And yes, Zell, we're doing science. We're doing great, 3. We're doing great. We have Ember and we have Sherbet. Let's switch over to Sherbet for a bit. Well, thank you. Is it a Mancio or a Manchio? Game is coming along nicely. We're currently working on the logic that will add modifications to a weapon. Now, I haven't decided exactly how I'm going to do it. So I would assume the name is Amancio then, right? Probably with some inflection that I'm getting wrong. I wouldn't expect the hard C in that case. This is just a guess. What I have to do, as Zell mentioned, we're doing science. I have to go in and find all references to a movement template and make them movement modifier. Because I don't want them to be called templates anymore. And hello, Aldair. Welcome. typing and touching the code a little slowly because I need to make sure Sky has sufficient attention. He doesn't come over for direct attention all that much. I would presume, Marcus, that that is a line from a song, if not just a poem. Just, or if not a poem. Huh. All right. What else have I broken? Modifiers. Spawner, probably. Oh, hey, by convenience, Spawner was already using what amounts to the wrong terminology. That's right, Edmoncio. We're making a game. And neither of those sound familiar. Those musicians sound familiar. Second slice, group modifiers, count modifiers. Okay, here we go. Modifier. Modifier. Modifiers. Okay. Okay, movement templates. Okay, we got a super long variable name. Sips. Modifier. The project name, the working title, which, could be completely different from the actual title, is Nyanite Survivors. Survivors, just because that has become the kind of genre calling card. In Nyanite, because that is a reference to my fan base, as well as the creature that is the central character sprite. So we need to go into Mob Factory. Let me see if I can unbreak it here. Once I unbreak it, then I'll show you where we are. There's... Okay, so what else is broken? Lots of stuff. Okay. Modifier. Okay. Still broken. We have, we should have movement seen somewhere. Movement scene done instantiate. Well, I would suggest, Amancio, if there is a concern, use your phone to call for the appropriate authorities. If this is a joke of some kind, I would assert that it's not in good taste. Modifiers. Set. Oh. Set here. All right. So you got blobs. Oop, oop. Modifiers. Okay. Okay. Red. Here. Start again. Debugger has not generated any errors yet. Find a bubble. Okay. Okay. We've debroken most of the stuff. I've made 0 games, Amancio. This is the first one I've set out to do. Like, I'm actually making headway on it. I haven't just, like, thought about it. So, one of the things with this is that I'm learning the toolkit. I'm learning how to use Godot. I'm learning the language that's associated with it. I have programmed before, but never in this particular language or toolkit. And I'm doing the sprite art, all of it, doing the full solo indie operation. Amancio, that's because stream time is generally nap time. So if they're visible, they're probably sleeping. You will occasionally see them moving between napping spots. Sometimes they're looking out that window there. And sometimes camera 1 will actually behave. But no, cat's gonna cat. Cats like to nap. They gotta save up energy for when they need to nap next. And in turn, that will save up energy for when they go absolutely bonkers. Thinking. Oh, that's right. We need a movement modifier factory. I just had a thought. So, just one. What if instead of hand creating the cute? What if instead of having the individual movement set, like the individual collection of modifiers, be set in the spawner, that instead the spawner had a movement object that it created, and we would modify that movement object? Not sure I like that. Because as soon as the movement object comes into existence, it's going to try to move. And we don't want that. We want it to be attached to an entity. And hello, Bacon. Welcome, welcome. And I do not play Roblox, no. Not terribly interested in Roblox. I'm making a game, Bacon. Minecraft in general can be interesting, Amancio, but I get tired of just building after a while. And I feel like there are design decisions that were that should be revisited in Minecraft, as well as I don't really respect their ongoing development practices. Not as in they're bad, it's more that they seem sloppy and lazy for such an amazingly popular property. I played Fortnite way back when it was originally released, when it was a tower defense game. And I liked it when it was a tower defense game, and I don't like it now. Not because Battle Royale, first-person shooter Battle Royale games are terrible. It's that they're not my thing. I don't like the ratio of gameplay to wait time. Well, I don't like the action to non-action ratio that exists in most of them. Though in general, I'm not a big fan of like heavy competitive action FPS games, shooter games. Fortnite is multiple perspectives. Let's see. I play recently Helldivers 2. That's been fun, though it is reaching the point where I want to play it less. Not as in I don't want to play it anymore, but I don't want it to be a constant play thing. I want to give it room to breathe. I'm thinking of picking up EDF 5 for a bit of offline play, off-stream play. EDF 6 is coming down the pipeline, and that's got me hankering for some EDF. I'm playing a old school styled, recently released JRPG called Eiyuden Chronicles. I think it's got a weird name. That's been a lot of fun. Some real nostalgia vibes. Helldivers 2. I find it to be a lot of fun, but it's going to depend on how you like to play games, what kind of games you like. It can be a very frenetic game, and it's relatively unforgiving as far as learning to do things right. Or I'm sorry, the difficulty scaling is very strong. So you can play it at various skill levels. If you want to progress, you need to learn how to make it work. But I find it to be tons of fun. No, I have. Well, I've said this before, but let's put it this way: you're looking at my face right now, so why would there be a reason to do a face reveal? And is it Heavener? In any event, hello, Heavener. You know, I've never played War Thunder. I've seen it advertised very heavily. I did play World of Tanks, and every now and then I'll play it again. But I've never played those really seriously. Oh yeah, definitely. Those games are very grindy and they have a very predatory monetization model. Um, but that's to the point, Amancio. That will not happen. And was I doing? If I make it generate a movement object, then it will cause it to move. So I want to avoid that. The movement object itself is just a container that facilitates the movement templates or the movement modifiers. So I have, but it's a good opportunity to do so, Sapphire. I have not, Amancio. Let's see. In general, some third-person action games, I like them to be very over the top. That's why I like Helldivers 2. It's essentially that somebody took the Starship Troopers movie and distilled it down to its essence and turned it into a game after dialing that up to 11. I like EDF for that reason. It is like 50s-ish era cheesy sci-fi monster movies, but with really big explosions and third-person action. I like JRPGs. I can't say that I always have time to finish them, but, we try. Oh, and sorry, I didn't see that. I didn't see you come in there, PSS, but hello, hello. Sorry to have missed the greeting. What am I going to call them? Am I going to call it a movement template, movement modifier template? That's another big name. Can't be a modifier template. That's too generic. I don't know what that is, Amancio. What am I going to call it? So spawner template. These are spawner templates. These are movement modifiers. So, and these are position modifiers. These are mob bodies. But then it's a mob template, which encompasses the mob body as well as modulation, color, type. That would be a great idea, wouldn't it, PSS? Okay, so I've run into a conceptual roadblock here, or a design roadblock. So I have the idea of movement in general. Movement is constructed of a series of modifiers to movement. So by default, things don't move. They'll just sit there. But when I create a creature or an entity, I can set a series of movement modifiers. In the case of the little blue blobs, as they are currently, what they'll do is they'll target the player. They set their target to the player object. And then they will home in on that target. So they will constantly set their movement direction to wherever the player is. Then we have move avoid monsters, which is a little different. It will try to reposition itself so that it doesn't touch other monster objects. This is a little tricky as far as how I'm doing it, so I might have to adjust that further. But effectively, when the movement happens, it will ensure that the player is targeted. It will change its direction to home to the target, so it'll face to the target. And then it's going to move forward in the direction that it has selected with adjustments to the direction to avoid bumping another monster. Yeah, that still works because this is effectively straight line movement. I think movement template is the right thing here. Because, well, we have movement objects and they contain movement modifiers. If I call it a movement template, it implies that it's one of these. So I think it has to be a movement modifier template. Unfortunate. Such a long path name. Look at that. Eh. Not ideal, but we're just going to call it a movement template. Maybe it is a resource. It exports a movement modifier is a packed scene. Export variable speed as a float to 0 by default. Okay, so we have a template, and then what we can do is then in movement go into each one of these. We can create a new resource, which is a movement template. Right, we have to add the class here. It's a class name. Got to specify this so that we can use it elsewhere. Well, thank you, Amancio. I appreciate it. New, it is a resource and it is a movement template. It is a move, avoid, monster. Move, avoid monsters, move, avoid monsters. Okay. So then we go into this template and it has a movement modifier and a speed. So what we can do is say move and avoid monsters normally has a 48. It moves at half speed. And I can have multiple templates of these. So I could have like move avoid monsters fast. As well as move don't avoid monsters. I could have some that just punch through over top. How many live streams have I made? A lot. Let me see. I can do a rough estimate. If you're talking game development ones, like on this topic, about 28 now. About 28 now. Processing. At least 400 live streams. About 400. I don't know what it's actually going to end up being. But let's look. I've never looked. And, well, I should say it's at least 400 because I used to stream primarily on Twitch. And most of those VODs no longer exist. That's 400. And then all the stuff that I did on Twitch. Okay. So now... Oh no, this is tricky. Because home to target movement is its own movement type too. So I don't want to have to specify this for everything, do I? But I could. Couldn't I? Alright, so here's what I'm thinking about. So, these are never a thing by themselves. A move avoid monsters just does what I want it to, but its core behavior is also influenced by its speed. So, speed. Each one of these templates has a speed value. But that speed should ultimately be defined by the particular use case. So, with a monster, home to target just gets used as a facing. Oh. Oh. Well, I can do that. I can do that. New folder face target. We're going to take, where is it? Movement modifiers don't really have a scene to them, so we're just going to create a new scene. It's going to be a node, and it's going to extend a movement modifier. Uh, how long have I been streaming? Several years now. Target, disconnect the script, create a new script. Move face target that inherits movement modifier. Create. So we can take home to target. Oh, like this stream? Like in this stream, I've been going for about 2 hours now. We had a 3-hour stream earlier today. Yeah, okay. So it's going to have all of this stuff. And we're going to go move face target is going to have all of this stuff. But we're going to look at targeting quickly. Target player just calculates target. Yeah. Return local target.copy. It doesn't do anything with move. Okay. So hey there, 1987. Welcome, welcome. Okay, we have face the target, and then we could do move in a straight line or move avoid monster. It's home to target movement we don't really need now. So we can go blob spawner. instead of move home to target, we could have just replaced. We have movement face target like that. So it needs 0 movement. All right, they're still homing in. Okay. This is potentially good. This is potentially good. Let's get into our homing mouse here. Do the same thing. Random mob. Move home to target. You're actually going to add element. It's going to be move in straight line and move face target. Well, thank you, 1987. Welcome aboard. Unless you're saying at that time that you mentioned that that's when you subscribe. But either way, I appreciate the subscription. Homing movement should be working fine, but move straight line might be broken. We're going to make them extra slow to test. Eight, 4, 12. Testing, testing. Okay, yeah. Move straight line is not working properly. Move, avoid monsters. Thank you, folks. That is a good reminder. If you're watching for the first time or just in general and you like what you see, remember to like, follow, and subscribe. That will help you see future broadcasts like this, as well as, well, it'll help you see future stuff like this. Target.copy. Yes, yes. Oh. No, that should be fine. fine. Let's double check that homing mouse then. 1, 2, 3, 4. We know face target is working. But they should definitely be turning in this case, because it's able to turn 180 degrees. Is strange. So let's grab a couple of these and see if we can watch them. Not seeing them turning. Random mob. Base target. Move in a straight line. All you need to make a YouTube video is, you make a video, you get a YouTube channel, and you upload the video to YouTube and set things like description and title. And in general, you can convert a YouTube account into a YouTube channel. Standard workflow thereof. Calculates target, gets that in there. Local target, target copy, local target copy. Yeah. Target random mob. Random mob is going to either return the target that its local target, or it will return the target that it received if there's no mob to target. Why is that not working? We need this to work. This is kind of a linchpin here. Because then I can make a whole bunch of them and associate them with a each individual object. Like, I could have a homing mouse movement. Hey, look, it's Sammy. Okay, we should only get this once we get the mouse spawner. It's local target. Direction is 603798. Why is this sticking? Why is that sticking? This should definitely be adjusting. You are spouting off capitals there, 300. Unclear why, but sure, whatever. Let's reload. We'll grab a bubble. Bubble obtained. Then let's look at target. Okay, target is updating appropriately. Oh, it doesn't care about its local target. That's just set target. In fact, move straight line doesn't need to calculate target. Well, it doesn't actually calculate target. It only cares about the target that it's given. That's why move avoid monsters. It's going to take target in. Yeah. No. Move avoid monsters is taking local target. This is not actually correct. It only works because local target is initially set to be the player object, and that it's getting away with that each time. So it should be, whenever movement is passed in, it should accept target as that. So it needs the ray cast, and get avoiding vector should have a target object. Then we'll pass target in there, like so. Target direction. Hey there, gang. Things are going well today. Why not both, Amancio? So it accepts the target and it uses the target direction. The target's direction. This should still work. Yes. Hello, Sky. You still have plenty of kibble. You do. I actually got some raised shallow bowls for them. It helps with the joke is that cats won't get upset that their food dish, while it still has a bunch of food shoved around the sides, that cats will act as if the dish is empty. And that's as much. Cats don't like to get their whiskers touched. When they, like, if they're trying to eat food and they have to lean all the way down and or um, their whiskers brush the edge of the bowl. They don't like that. Cat whiskers are kind of sensory organs. When they bump things, that tells them that the edges of the like an edge is in existence. That's how cats know if they can fit through a hole, kind of stuff. Uh, Yellow. Don't see a reason not to say yellow, but I don't see a reason to say yellow. Dot. Target direction. Uh-oh. Well, they're facing, but they're not moving. Blobs will target the player. They face the target, and then they move to avoid monsters. So let's look at face target. So they are facing the target. That's weird. So we do target. So the target is straight below. They are straight below us, so they're going to move directly up. And we're going to go to here. And our adjustment, it is unchanged. So we're going to add our speed, which is 48. We're going to add that to the body's velocity. It should totally be moving. Oh, yeah, they're moving. But they're facing the target, but they're moving in a different direction. Ah. How did I break? How did I break? Let's make only one blob to a little bit elementary school, don't you think? 0, 1. Here. Still 0, 1. Is target not being updated? mean, seriously, Amancio, not happening. Why would I? Uh, because it's like a grade school joke to try to get somebody to say something that you can giggle over. Seems like a questionable course of action and a very public admission of what is usually a high crime. Okay, we set its velocity to 0. Oh no, that's a different entity. This one is let's we put the breakpoint in move face target. Move face target, then we get wait. Is okay. Move face target does need to operate on the move operation. It needs to change its yeah. It does need to use move. It's not going to use speed. Depends on the type of plastic, Ghost. If you are concerned that you might have ingested poison, then you should seek the relevant relevant assistance. Things like poison control hotlines are probably a good idea. If it's something sharp, then I would seek emergency medical attention. If you'd like suggestions beyond that, I would suggest contacting, like, again, poison control or similar. I am not a doctor. Let's see if this works first. Very, very slowly. They should be moving at half speed in Move Void Monster. Again, Ghost, if you are joking, probably not the greatest joke. If you are not joking, then you should probably consider contacting a medical professional to determine if you should be concerned. Objects that are some particular shapes may cause damage or problems down the road. Your question seems incomplete, Amancio. Equal to get avoiding vector. I get the amount you're saying, but what would be slapped? Oh, we got a triple cat. Adjustment is 0 and 1. Move straight upward. Straight upward. Straight upward. That seems wrong, but straight downward it wants to move. If I try to go up, it's pushing against that. direction is equal to target direction dot normalized. Is it okay if you leave the stream? Always. It's always fine to leave a stream if you want to. Okay, move to face target. Target direction to target is 0, 1. It is not. Never an issue there. Never an issue. Okay. We're at 21 and our target's position is 0, 0. Yes. Okay, no, it is 0. It is 0, 1. And we don't need to adjust it. It's already normalized, so don't need that. That's fine. Thanks for joining us. Okay, move face target is going to get 0, 1. Then move avoid monster is going to get 0, 1 passed in via target. We're going to take the target's direction, and we're going to make our adjustment from there. Wait. All movement. Okay, we just call move. We don't expect. Base target. We have a spawner should have a moment where it does similar here. We call a very tiny movement. Nope, nope, we don't have to. Odd. Cumbersome. Remote tree. Core. Game. Air collision zone. Body. Camera. Point 1. Okay, that's not working. Something is broken. And I don't know what it is. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Oh. Oh, okay. Okay. Doesn't need to move. Two. Oh, that was quick. Equal to that. Limitless. I do recall you showing up. It's been a bit. Hula, you say? As in the dance? Say. Let's just remove that. No, I kind of like that, really. Cleans it up. Direction is equal to new direction. I think there was the problem. We weren't, when it was too far to rotate, we weren't rotating. Do remote, and we're going to game, player, body, camera, 0.5. Okay, now it doesn't move at all. We're coding today. We're working on our game. Still the same game. Earlier today, we did some code. We did some gameplay on the Payne's Crate killing, but now I'm trying to fix what I broke. Here's hoping. Here's hoping. I would like to get this resolved before we wrap up. We've got like 15 minutes to do it. Rotate local target. New direction. Its current position is -21. And then that never happens again. Well, if you're looking to grow a YouTube channel, it's important that you start to look at what kind of if nobody's viewing your content, then it's a question of what kind of content are you putting out and what kind of things would attract people to it. YouTube channels give you a lot of analytics on that kind of thing, like how many people are showed your content, that kind of stuff. So you'd need to start there. You'd need to research what kind of people are being shown your content and what kind of people are clicking it, and start trying to get a feel for who your target audience is and what your target audience ends up being. Like, who are you trying to show the stuff to and who's actually seeing it? Because if you're just doing it as a hobby, do it as a hobby. Put the stuff up, and if people see it or not, it doesn't matter. If you're doing it to try to grow a channel, it's a different thing. It becomes much more work to do it. Target. Okay, move face target always updates the target. Calculate target, it will pass back the current target. Target.copy. Okay. When it calculates the target, it adjusts it the first time. But calculate target happens once. And then we don't really do that again. So then it's target.target object. We're going to have this return a vector 2. Position, target position gets the direction to it. So direction to target is what we'll get if we can rotate perfectly. The direction is direction to target. Otherwise, it is get current direction. Say vector 2. Vector 2 is equal to target direction. This is where we're currently facing. So we can get current direction rotated is equal to new direction. We return new direction. Body to move, velocity plus equals that. My Hero Academia? Yes. I've been reading the manga. I've actually fallen behind on reading the manga. I wouldn't want to throw extra spoilers into it, but I'm pretty far into it, but I haven't found the resolution of, like, I don't know if it's the resolution to the series, if there's going to be, like, a follow-up post the big kind of apocalypse. The thing you'll find with anime, especially what is considered shonen anime, that category, anime targeted at young boys mostly, but you know, anybody can like it, is that there's a real flavor of the month scenario where it will be the greatest thing ever for a bit, and then when a new one comes out that is the current cool one, everybody hates the prior one and thinks anybody that likes the prior one is dumb, which is silly. Hey there, Mafioso, welcome. Think we may have fixed it. Hey, if we don't need to update the direction, we don't update the direction. Okay. Blob still does not move. Well, have fun, Limitless. A new direction is 0, 0. Move face target. Oh, okay. Okay, okay. Else. Okay, no, we set target is equal to target direction. That's, if there is no direction, just sit there. Then new direction should get updated one way or the other. As of here, new direction has no value. So we go over to here. So now we have, there's still, we're not moving at all. That's fine. Our current position is here and our target position is 0, 0. So our direction to target, that's weird. Why is it just 0, -1? That's not accurate. Our current position, direction to target position. Target position is 0, 0. So why is it 0, -1? Yeah, it's normalized, but it shouldn't be rounded that much. Because this is... Yeah, this is off kilter. This is not working. That's part of our problem right there. Is it's not straight up. I'm sorry, straight left. Is it rounding very heavily then? But in any event. Angle 2. 180. Oh. No, 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 no. Oh, okay. Radians to degrees. Angle 2. It essentially wants to do a 180. Hey there, kitty. We actually have a triple kitty on camera right now. We have Sammy on the blanket and Sherbet in Sky snuggled up together. People present vary moment to moment, kitty. Some people don't have time to stay and watch. Some people swing through when they swing through. Direction is 0. Position. That. Angle 2 in radians to degrees. So once again, 180. All of that seems... Pharma, yes. I am trying to code a game. I have broken something, and I'm trying to figure out what it is. Okay, so we have a target coming in. This will be... It's generally going to be nothing. We're not going to change the direction. But this is where the problem comes in. Okay. So our current direction is nothing. We're just sitting still because this is the only thing. This is the first update. I have programmed for many years, professionally and otherwise. As far as games, this is the first game that I've set out to do. I've never done anything in Godot engine before. I've never used the script before. So this is effectively me learning along with anybody that's watching how to use Godot and make a game in it. Specifically, I'm making a Vampire Survivors style game. Okay, we are currently right and down a ways. Our target is 0, 0, where the player is. So our direction should be left. I'm sorry, we are right and up. So we should be left and down for our direction to target. Left and down. Okay. That is our direction to target. Yes. Our angle 2. This is wrong. This is wrong. Okay. We take our target direction. Angle 2, direction to target. Okay, we have to make... Okay, we have another edge case here. If our target direction is currently nothing, then we need to have a special case in that we start moving. If our vector is 0, we need to be able to start moving. If current direction, then we have a current direction. Do all of this song and dance here. Else, the direction is equal to direction to target. I think I found the bug. What other cats do I have? Okay, so you can see top to bottom in that picture. You have Sammy on the blanket, and then Sherbet above and Sky below on the pillow. Then I also have Ember, who is, let's zoom out. Sammy is the black kitty. She is a little tuxedo. We have Ember on the shelf. She's on a heating pad there. Mason is not visible. If I had to guess, Mason is up and right from where Sammy is. Okay, I think we've solved it. Oh. Pause. Unpause. In remote view, game, players, body, camera, half view, switch back. Yeah, we fixed it. Yes, Sammy's a tuxedo, so she is mostly black with kind of white socks, belly, that kind of thing. Okay, Blob is tracking again. We fixed the bug. So, for those interested, the bug was we made a new movement type called face target. The intent of face target is that the object that we're moving, whether it's a creature or a projectile, will always pivot its direction as much as it can. The default is it can turn 180 degrees. Will make it so that it can inherit different things. So it can move 180 degrees. So it will always pivot at least that up to that much to face whatever it's aiming toward. It's aiming at. So if it's locked onto the player like enemies are, it will keep turning to face. Yeah, I think I get what you're going for, because in that particular case, squid backwards would sound like something. Ha 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 ha, giggle giggle. But what was happening is, if it was not moving, it had no target direction. And in the case of blobs, they have no target direction unless the player exists. So without a target direction, we would say, okay, here's where we're currently looking, which was 0, 0. We're holding still. We'd get where we wanted to go. The player, like our position where the player is, what the direction to it is. Then we'd calculate the angle of our current vector. Well, the angle to our current vector is 0. So, and that's within 180. Technically, it would say it was 180, but it was within our turn limit. So we would rotate our current direction, which is 0, which means it's 0. And that don't work. So we have to have a special case that says, if we don't have a current direction, set it to the target direction. Like, this is where we are going. It depends on how you interpret the statement. if it is a sequence of events and you are describing the total collective of eggs you have, and that each statement refers to eggs, which is contextually true, then you could assert that you have 2 eggs remaining, because the dropping of 2 eggs does not include the assumption of the destruction of 2 eggs. Now, additionally, if you cook 2 and eat 2, there is not the assertion that you cooked 2, left them there, and then ate 2 additional eggs. So then you would have 4 eggs remaining. And then we could also assume that you have 6 eggs, but you have not specified that you have dropped 2 eggs, eaten 2 eggs, and cooked 2 eggs. So you could still have 6 eggs. Contextually, your sentence would imply that those numbers refer to eggs, but it doesn't have to. It could just be a badly constructed sentence. Okay, this solves the problem. How do you do a live stream on YouTube? I believe you have to have a channel in good standing, and then you have to set up your live streaming process. So you can do an ad hoc live stream. So let's say you're going through OBS. I think you can go directly from a cell phone now. I don't know what that process necessarily is. But you can set up OBS to point at a particular stream key on YouTube. And that can either be an ad hoc stream key that just goes live immediately and stays live as long as the signal is there. Or you can schedule a stream, and until that stream's broadcast is ended, you can keep transmitting to it through something like OBS. Okay, I don't necessarily like this pattern, though, because it's not preserving the prior direction. Okay. Function get direction target. This way down, we're going to say target body to move. Target position direction to target is that. Turn direction to target. Just so. $962, I think. Yeah, I think it's 962. Okay, so we have the direction to the target. Target direction is equal to get direction to target, body to move, target. It's a process, 3. Like I mentioned before, it's a matter of figuring out the kind of thing that you want to make, well, so there are a couple ways to go about it. It's if your whole goal is to make content that people want to watch, you need to research trends and determine what kind of things people want to watch right now and try to make that content. That's a lot of work. That is a pattern that is something really difficult to do because you need to constantly be researching. Hey there, Copper. We're running a little bit long today. I'm okay with that. If instead, let's say you want to make FNAF videos, then you need to find out, are people watching FNAF videos? If they're not, then expect there to be a difficulty on that front. What am I doing in the game right now? I'm trying to fix some logic here. I have a movement pattern that says face the target. But there's an edge case of there is no current movement. Let's say it's the first targeting logic in the chain, or the object just isn't moving up until that point. If that happens, then we need to set the direction to the target. We need to set that. But we also need to make sure that that is remembered. I mean, you can try 3. There are tools and sites and whatnot that you can visit to determine what kind of hashtags, what kind of videos, those kind of things that are popular, and go from there. Yes, if all you want to do is just make FNAF videos, then make FNAF videos. If your goal is to get subscribers, there's more work to do. That kind of thing. What kind of games do I play? Like, personally, I play over-the-top action games only. So, like, Helldivers 2 and EDF are the kind of things that I mean for over-the-top. Or I like grindy third-person shooters. So, early on, The Division was fun. Remnant and Remnant 2. Sometimes Borderlands. Borderlands has lost its luster for me. And welcome back, Pause. Let's see. I do like JRPGs. They are a huge time investment, though, so while I do enjoy playing them, I have a habit of not finishing them because something else comes up and then I don't get back to it until I forgot all about it, and then I'm on to different things. Currently, I'm trying one called Eiyuden Chronicles, or Eiyuden I don't know. It's EIY to start with, so it's syllable roulette. But that one's fun. It's a real throwback to a prior era. Mystery games I do like. Very particular types, but our gaming streams are now going to be, for the time being, Payne's Creek Killings, which is very mystery-oriented. I do like grindy games. I like to see numbers go up, but there are plenty of games where they put an arbitrary cap on making the numbers go up, and I don't like that. I like to watch the numbers go up. Sandbox games can be fun. But again, I like to make things bigger. I like to make things better. And if the game stops me or sets a limit on that, then it annoys me. So things, a lot of sandbox games have resource scarcity as a mechanic. So like in Minecraft, it's technically possible to deplete all diamonds within thousands of blocks or similar. And so you're scrounging for them and scrounging for them. And if you need them for something, then that's annoying. And I don't like that. But I also don't want to just turn on creative mode. So it's a dilemma. So I like games like Satisfactory, where it's about the logistics and building cool things. Haven't played that in a bit, though. Okay, so we have the edge case that there is no direction, but then we need to remember what that is. So target dot target direct is equal to new direction. So if there's no target, it's just going to preserve that direction. But as soon as there is a direction, it's going to use the local target as its basis. So if it gets a direction, it's going to use that and say, I'm gonna deal with that direction. I'm going to adjust it to face the target. So we have a target object, then we're going to obey the target object. Right. So we'll remember whatever the target was unless we change it. If we change it, we're going to remember the new one. But we need... Okay. We gotta think through this. So if so, our target direction can be nothing. If we have a target direction, then local target target direction is equal to target target direct. Well, we don't need to do this yet. New direction is equal to target target direction. Else new direction is equal to local target target direction. We're going to try to do this because it's if we don't have a real target direction, if it's 0. How to make a game like Minecraft? Well, there are a lot of packages out there that get that started, like presentation of a voxel world. So that would be a kickoff point. I would say the real question of skill would come down to what kind of things you are going to render. So, like, how are you going to present it and how much? So, how many blocks per unit are you talking? If you're talking like millions of little pixel blocks, then that gets trickier than the big chunky Minecraft blocks. There is the art that's going to go on them. Some of that's going to be based on what tools you use to render them, like how much resources it would be. Then I think a big question is storage and loading. Like, how do you represent it in data? How do you store it, and how do you bring it back whenever you need it? That's why Minecraft has that concept of chunks, which are supposed to just be loaded on the fly, so you only see so many of them. Additionally, Minecraft needs to store and handle all chunks that have ever been loaded. Like, it needs to be aware of that as you go farther and farther, and then it starts to break down But those are the kind of things that it would be. And that's just presenting the world. The concept of like changing what blocks are, picking them up, placing them, adds alterations to the world data. It adds an inventory concept. It adds interaction. So it's non-trivial. It's non-trivial. Now, skill-wise, if you want to start. Your skill is going to be an accelerator on it, potentially. You can be an amazing developer, but if you've never done anything like that before, you might have the same tripping hazards and difficulties that a newbie would. If you don't know the tools, if you don't know how to code graphics and physics and the like, then you've got to learn how to do that. If you don't know how to make the art that you want, if you don't know how to, you don't know 3D modeling and you want 3D models, you got to learn 3D modeling. Long story shorter, you don't need a high level of skill. You can start with any level of skill. Game is moving along, Conduct. Game is moving along. We are trying to fix something here. So if we have a target direction, we'll just use that. But we should always... We need to remember our last direction, and we'll use local target for that. We will always save our last direction and local target, because if this is the first movement modifier, it will always get a target movement of 0, 0. A velocity. Or nothing will supply a target direction, either way. If you were to start with Godot engine, they have a good tutorial. Did I break it again? I broke it again. Like, Godot engine will get you started with a very straightforward game concept that demonstrates some of the default physics and stuff that is largely all that's necessary to do something pretty basic. And from then on, there are tutorials all over YouTube and the internet in general on how to do different things. So, and this is true of just about any engine. Game Maker, RPG Maker, Godot engine, Unity. I'm sure there's something out there for Unreal Engine that can be a beast to start with, but all of them, there are descriptions and tools for them. And you can get up and running. Oh, hey there, dragon. All right, what did I break? We're coding our game, and I've messed something up. So we set it based on whether we have a target or not. Okay, so we come in, we have a target direction. It says move up. So, okay, we are choosing to move up. Our direction to our target is... Oh, I'm sorry. Our movement direction currently is down. And we want to move a bit down and right. I have fixed many things. And I've broken other things. We're trying to do a bit of refactoring here and there. I had a bit of an epiphany earlier that I wanted to change movement template objects into actual templates, which necessitated a renaming. And after doing that, since that the concept of the templates would allow us to combine the manner of movement and by default how fast it is, so that we could have little stamps of the movement template. So like, you know, move and avoid mobs at the speed of a blob could be a template. And then that would allow me to create actual movement clusters, the full movement object template. So I could just attach that to a spawner. So these cool little defaults. Additionally, by having those movement templates, those movement modifiers in templates, and potentially those movement clusters in templates, that makes it easier to create the modifiers of movement subsequently. So if I want to have, home at the object in a sine curve be a modifier for a weapon that I could attach to it on the fly, I could have a full movement template for that. And we could glue that onto the weapon later. I would need a concept of putting two movement objects together, but that's straightforward enough. Okay, so we want to move kind of right and much more down. So we get our angle to it. And we need to move back like that many radians. What's our degree movement? -35 degrees. All right, Dragon, thanks for swinging through. It's within our turn limit. So our new direction is direction to target. Okay. We're going to move right, and we're going to move down. So we save off new direction into local target. Right and down. And we return our new direction, which is part of our move. So our body to move, its velocity is mostly down, which could be influenced by the move and change direction. Are we getting down coming into this? How's it getting a target direction of down initially? Because it has a target. Doesn't it? Blob spawner targets the player. All right. I'm going to have to pick this up next time, folks. Oh. How cumbersome. How cumbersome. So there's something wrong with the blob's movement. It is fundamentally drifting down. And everything else is pushing against that. I'm not clear on why it keeps moving downward. I think the lock onto player movement might be part of, or the target player might be part of the issue, but we'll have to see. Target player shouldn't be doing anything like that. But I'll have to be looking into it further But we're making progress otherwise. I think the template model for movement modifiers is where we ultimately want to be. Well, thanks for joining us, folks. Thanks, Copper and Dragon, James, and anyone else who is still watching. I'm glad you could all join us, and I'm glad you had a good time. As another reminder, if you haven't already and you like what you saw, remember to like, follow, comment, subscribe, all that kind of goodness. It'll help you see more things like this in the future. All that said, next stream is going to be tomorrow. I plan on having more Paynes Creek killings at around noon, as well as more coding at around 4 p.m., all times US Central. I should be able to do the triple stream since I will have full bandwidth access for noon. No guarantees. I may still just do the short form stream for the noon stream. We'll see. Have a good night, everyone.